Hi everyone, welcome to my ALF training Care Association webinar number 6. On the phone with me now is Cheryl Stockstill,
Hello.
ALF 4 trainer. How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
Beautiful day here in Florida today, isn't it?
Yep, we are not snowed in.
No. So what are we covering today, Cheryl?
Today is an inspection on a facility that has about 200 beds. They're an LNS facility, and this was just a standard inspection. Let me see, what was it? Sorry, I had scrolled down. I was looking at it. This is just the unannounced survey that was conducted in conjunction with their LNS survey. And then they found deficiencies at the time of the inspection.
Okay. Alrighty. Before we get into it, though, we want to emphasize that even though we're doing these survey reviews of facilities, we are not picking on anybody. And this is just public record. All we're trying to do is learn from it. And so, we make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes unless you are super diligent and partially lucky, right?
Yes.
Wouldn't you say you have to have,
Or
okay,
overstaffed on administrative side.
right.
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to stay.
But we're not picking on anybody, and we're even going to do our surveys, which we did get cited for some things. So just to make that point. Another thing I want to briefly touch on, Cheryl, can you see the screen? I'm going to the careassociation.org website right now. Do you see
Yes.
that? Okay. Careassociation.org is basically a resource guide for the public. And so people can go to this website, they can search for a facility, they can read about them, see pictures, and you can claim your facility here or add it, and it doesn't cost anything. It's free. So basically, all you do is, you can see it's got a default in here at assisted living and then zip code. So I'm just going to pick our zip code to give you an example, and then I'll go ahead and click search. And then from the list there, you just pick your facility. So let's say I'm Salis, and then you would basically click on this business owner link with a question mark, and you go through the process to claim your listing, and then you can go ahead and improve it, add descriptions, add your email address, links to your website, stuff like that, so that if the public wanted to ask about some information about your facility, you'll get that notification. Okay, so also there's a link to our training posts, so whenever we do post our webinars or any other information, it'll be there. You can also become a member. It's free, so go ahead and click on the membership application. And we're going to be doing annual events and giving free continuing education credits for administrators. So stay tuned. You definitely want to be on the list. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to switch back over to the survey now. Cheryl, do you see the survey?
I do.
Okay, go ahead. Do you want to start?
Hold on. Let me click over to mine.
Okay.
So this was the LNS inspection. And the reason I chose this one is because it's the mistakes that were made are it's unfortunate because those things protocols should have been in place, and this could happen to anybody. I've walked into my facility many times and seen these same violations, and we just work on it with our staff over and over and over again. And now when we go in, we don't see it anymore. But I think this is a good learning tool. So the first thing they got written up for was under resident care rights and facility procedures. So if you're not familiar with the residents' rights, Bill of Rights and facility procedures, you can go ahead and read it down here. You can find it in section 429.28 of the Florida statutes. So let me scroll down to, because it just explains what they are under resident rights, because they put all this big.
Yeah, it's a lot of text.
It's a waste of paper, right?
Yeah.
So let's see. I'm on 4 and I still haven't hit it. Okay, page 5 is where they wrote that the statute or rule wasn't met as evidenced by. So when they were in the facility, they observed and interviewed some of the staff. So they found that the facility failed to provide care within community standards of care for residents number 1 of the 5 residents that were sampled. So what happened was the surveyor observed a facility staff member touching the resident's medication with her hand before giving it to the resident. And they said that this has the potential of causing infection to the resident. Um, this
Well,
can happen anywhere.
true,
It's
but
probably
you know,
true,
it's
sure.
hard. It's a lot of medication.
But
Okay, so
it's great.
the staff D, a medication tech, was observed assisting resident number 35 with his medications. She was observed removing 7 pills from the bubble pack container into her hand before placing them into a small white paper cup. After the staff had touched all 7 pills, they were given to the resident to take. In an interview with staff D, she confirmed she had touched each of the pills before giving them to the resident. She confirmed this practice could cause infection to be passed to the resident from her hand. Class 3 violation. So obviously, it's just something that you're going to have to continue to reinforce and remind people when you walk in or you see people. Say, remember, don't pre-cup, do 1 pill at a time, don't touch them with your hands, wear gloves, whatever.
Like, the one thing that's good about this facility is they had the bubble pack containers. I hope everybody's familiar with them. If not, there's these little medications are packed in bubbles and you can just pop them out. And the thing that's good about those is you can just line them up right over the cup and pop them out, and you really don't have to handle them
But that
as
is
much
what
as
they
a pill
use.
bottle.
Yeah, they use the bubble pack.
No, I said that was what's good about this facility.
Yeah. Oh, that's
They
right.
have the bubble pack, so you don't have to reach. I mean, think about the people who have pill bottles with 90 pills in them, and so I guess they should be wearing gloves, right? If they have pill bottles.
Yeah, but really,
according to this person.
if you have a cup, I guess you just take the medication and pop it right into the cup, give it to the resident, tell them what the medication is, tell them what it's for, tell them all those things, watch them take it, have them initial. So it really, it's a never-ending task because it's just human nature. I mean, it's hard. It's hard. So anyway, that was
the first. I think this was. It seems like they've kind of already had some things. They've already done some inspections, and they've got to the point where they're starting to observe medication because there wasn't any tags prior to this. So I think once the surveyor saw the staff handle the medication, it kind of set off a red flag, and so now they're just going to focus on the medication and see what else is going wrong. So, and that's just one I wouldn't want to focus on.
Okay, let's go to the next. So the next tag was
Still,
assistant self-administration. Same thing, right? So let's go down and find out what the tag was. I like the new format that they use for the. Okay, so the statute or rule is not met as evidenced by, based on observation and interview, the facility failed to properly assist with self-administered medications for resident 2 of 5. Residents surveyed by not reading medication labels to the resident. So there you go. That's just the whole process, right?
Right.
The popping it out into the hand. They should have read the medication label, like I said, each pill 1 by 1, in private, not in front of all other residents.
Mm-hmm. So during this tag, the staff number D, again, she was the med tech. She was observed assisting one of the residents with his medications on the 2nd floor of the memory care unit. She was observed placing the pills in a small white paper cup at her cart, okay, which at least she didn't handle them with her hands, and then taking the paper cup to the resident. So she was not observed reading the label of the medications to the resident. So basically, popped them out on the cart really quick, probably, had them in the cup, handed them over to the resident to take. So that's a big no-no especially when the state's there, but it's just a violation of the medication rule because you need to sit with the resident and pop each pill out and let them know what it is. So, Mr. Johnson,
one by one.
This is your Tylenol 500 milligram 1 capsule that you take
for pain or whatever.
For your back pain, and pop it out. Watch them take it and sign it. So, here we go with another medication violation. This could have been prevented too. I think staff D
Well,
needs some more training.
yeah, and the thing is that training is required annually for the med techs, but in some ways, I'm tempted to do it more often, especially since we have it online, the 2-hour renewal. I mean, if you had a subscription package with us, you could just make it a requirement that all your staff have to take it every 6 months. And I guess you could also do some sort of random, test. Go in and observe a med pass and make sure that they're doing it properly. And if they're not, instruct them and coach them again, because they know, they just forget, they get busy.
Right. And it sounds like they have a lot of residents too.
I think it's at
So
something
I'm
like
sure they're busy.
200. Yeah.
200. So they also observed staff D assisting another resident with her medications. And what happened was she crushed one Tylenol 500 milligrams medication, and she placed the medication in a small plastic cup. She was observed mixing the medication and ice cream and gave the medication to the resident. And once again, she didn't read the medication label to the resident. This could have been prevented. Actually, staff D definitely needs some more training. I think if the administrator does regular audits, or manager, or whoever's in charge of the med techs, go down just at a random time and stand there and watch your staff do it, and correct them and coach them. And if you're finding that they're not doing it properly and they're not understanding, you definitely would want to retrain them or take them off their position, because it's only going to end up with stuff like this.
Right. I got a little distracted. Somebody was trying to tell me something, Cheryl, here. Did you talk about getting an order for crushing the pills and
No, but
okay.
obviously they had an order, so
Yeah,
that
because
was
they didn't get
okay.
cited for it, right?
Yeah, no, they were
Yeah.
just. This is just kind of. These are like, the reason why I chose this is because I know it happens all the time, and it's just being able to be aware of what your staff knows, and just watching them. I mean, we do that all the time. We remind them, don't leave, pills over here. Make sure you're sitting with the resident. Make sure you're telling them what medication they're taking. We constantly remind them of how medication needs to be done.
Yeah, and I think it is a good point so that people know to crush it. I mean, I think a lot of people would just do it, but if you're going to crush pills and put it, you need an order to crush pills and put it in applesauce. And of course, you still need to tell the resident what it is and what it's for, and you can't just say, here's some ice cream. Yeah, they have to be aware of what they're taking, unless you're administering medication. But you have to remember, what we're doing is assistance with self-administered medication. We're assisting the resident to self-administer. So just crushing it up and giving it to them and saying, here's your applesauce, is administration, and it will always get you in trouble.
Especially on a memory care wing too. It's kind of
Yeah.
Anyways,
Okay.
the next thing they got cited for was medication storage. Yes, I have walked into my place and seen the medication cabinet unlocked. That's one thing we check for every morning when we go in. In lunchtime, whenever, don't you, Calais? Every time you're walking by the medication, I'm making sure it's locked. And
Yes.
remind the girls, and the ones that had a habit of forgetting to lock it, they're now locking it, so we're happy. Okay, poor staff number D is getting picked on again. I feel bad for her, but she needs some training. Okay, so the med tech was observed in the living room of the second floor memory care, assisting a resident with his medications. The medication cart used for the second floor memory unit was located in the kitchen area approximately 20 feet away from staff. Several residents were observed in both the kitchen and the living room area, in the surroundings of the medication cart, and the medication cart was unlocked. So that's a big no-no too. Especially if you're going to walk away from the cart. On a memory care unit, any unit, of course, but especially memory care, they're going to say, so this is what they said, that 2 residents from the memory care unit were observed walking close to the cart, and the staff was observed with her back to the cart and her attention focused on the resident she was assisting. So she was observed away from her cart for 4 minutes while the surveyor was in the room. It's not known how long she was away from the cart before the surveyor came on the unit. So she left the cart unlocked, unattended, basically. where anybody could have access to it, and she got caught. So that's just bad, poor habit.
Well, and it's so hard because you know that the facility had this person trained. You know that they were in compliance with all of those things. It is literally got to be the hardest thing for these med techs to give medication to all these residents and following these strict guidelines and having the surveyor follow you and the pressure of it. And I know because our staff, they forget, even though we teach them these things, they forget. Everybody's makes mistakes, but in this situation, yeah, leaving the cart. And also another point to make on that is you always just need to be teach your staff to be looking out for medication bottles that are sitting around. I mean, I had a family member just drop off some Tylenol or something and gave it to the residents, and it was on their table in their room. That the door was open. I mean, anybody could have walked in and gone and taken a whole bottle of it. So we're always trying to, keep our eyes open for any medication that's available. So, just little things got to be a hawk about.
So,
are we moving on to the next, Cheryl?
Well, no, I just wanted to say something
okay.
on Staff D's defense, because she just was the target and she made tons of mistakes, and so all they write is just what's negative about Staff D, but if Staff D was holding their hand and hugging them and brushing their hair and singing a song to them while they're taking their medication, they wouldn't recognize that.
No, they don't.
And
they only see.
Yeah, these wonderful caregivers, and we only see the negative, and that's a shame, because sometimes it's like, well, you see that the cart's unlocked, but don't you see what a wonderful, caring person
funny.
this is, right?
It's funny, because they do the surveys. I think we talked about this, and they come through and they interview the families, and the families give glowing, reviews, and they talk to a home health aide or somebody that comes through, and they talk to the residents, and they're so happy, and and you don't read any of this good stuff that may be 98% of the whole survey for the whole day, and you read these things and it sounds like it's horrible, but I know that this place is probably beautiful, and I know they focus on the negative and
the negative. Well, I spoke with the family member, and she said Staff D was the most loving, caring person, and my mom is thriving with her.
I know.
With her unlocked cart.
We'll just not add that to this.
No, she's just bad. She leaves medication unlocked.
I know.
But,
All right. So what else did you have here?
So again, if you scroll down just a little bit, they went into the room where they keep the med carts, and.
Well, what is? Oh, okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, they were just finding that they went into the room, and there's another room for insulin, and it's a medication room that holds medication stored in the refrigerator, and a treatment cart which holds diabetic supplies and supplies to treat wounds in a third cart. So they watched the LPN, observed her administering insulin to a resident. So the medication room door was observed to be open, with several residents coming to receive medications. The second medication room door was also observed to be open. The resident was pushed through the door into a smaller room near the insulin and the insulin supplies. Both the treatment cart and the medication cart in the smaller room were observed unlocked. Staff F was observed administering insulin to one of the residents and to take the resident out of the room. The medication and treatment carts remain locked. After bringing the second resident to the wheelchair in the room, Staff F left the room, and the resident unattended for 3 minutes with the residents with the medication and the treatment cart unlocked. So it sounds like it's a whole staff problem that day. It's not just one person. It's just they're not conscious of locking their carts.
It is so hard. Geez. Well, okay.
So you have these big places where 200 residents have to come down to some med room to get their meds, right? But they would, you have small places where we go into the rooms and sit kindly with them and give them their meds, and, you get no recognition for that, right?
Recognition, yeah. Okay, so let's see here. So interview was conducted with staff E. She confirmed she had left the medication and treatment carts unlocked. She stated she felt that since the cart was in the medication room, it could be left unlocked. After realizing she had left a resident unattended in the room with the carts unlocked, she confirmed she should lock the medication and treatment carts. While walking out of the room after the interview, she had to be reminded to lock the carts again. She stated, "I have to get in the habit of locking them." But boy, I know how nervous they make our staff, and
Hmm.
like you said, could be the best caregiver in the world, and they
So
make it
listen, yeah.
intimidate. Yep.
Listen to this next one. I thought it was kind of funny. It could take either way. I don't know if it's sarcastic. It's probably not sarcasm, but so they interviewed the administrator, and he confirmed the staff should be locking the medication carts when not being used. He stated that's basic 101.
Yeah.
So
And it is.
yeah, it is basic 101, but you're not doing it. So
Yeah. But like I said, it's a
yeah.
constant reminder. You just have to keep reminding the staff because I'm sure they were trained. It's just, whoops, didn't do it
Yeah,
this
get
time.
busy.
Or the pressure. You know, people are focusing on one particular task. They may lock them all the time, but because the surveyor is standing over their shoulder, they pressure of it and
Nervous.
they forget. So I totally can envision that. Okay. Medication room, second floor was observed open. So the same
Same
thing, right?
thing.
Okay.
Yeah, more unlocked carts. So they're going through the medication rooms and they're just finding unlocked carts everywhere. So they just keep getting written up for it again and again and again, just different
Yeah.
floors.
Okay.
Let's see. They asked the director of nurse they interviewed, and they told her that what the observations were made, and she stated that yes, but there's medication in the room with the carts that it should be locked. And after explaining the danger of nurses walking away from unlocked medication carts, the director of nursing confirmed that the medication carts should be locked when nurses step away from them.
Yeah.
And she
You know,
acknowledges
all
it.
in all, though, like you gotta say this is
Not bad.
a 200 bed facility, and this really a couple violations, you know, and really things that it's human error, right? If they were trained properly, I mean,
It's
so
still hard when you're busy.
it is. It is. I really do feel for our caregivers and these good people that are doing such great work, and they're made to
Terrorized.
they're made to
Did I
be
say that?
no pressured.
Pressured.
But they're made to
Pressured.
be. They're treated like criminals. Don't you feel sometimes we're treated like criminals?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Like seriously? Whew. All right.
All right. Let's
So
not talk about that.
I know I'm not. You were.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
Well,
right.
listen. I think that's it for this one, and
Right.
stay tuned. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, or don't unsubscribe from our email list. If you're not on our email list, then just email us at support@careassociation.org, and we'll get you on it. But we do these. We're trying to do them once or twice or 3 times a week. It just has to line up. But if you have any suggestions of things that you want us to cover, please email us at support@careassociation. Leave a comment on the website or on the YouTube channel, and we'll be more than happy to cover it. Also, we're going to be doing interviews of facility administrators and get some perspective from them and how they run their facility and issues they deal with. So if you want to be interviewed or if you're interested in promoting your facility, it's going to be a nice discussion about how you got into the business and stuff like that. Please email us and let us know. We'd be happy to schedule something.
Also, if you want me to review one of your surveys, we could. I mean, I pick them randomly, but if you have something that you want us to look at and do a webinar on, we're open to that too.
Yeah, we'll be gentle and kind.
Some pointers. Yeah, if you volunteer your survey, we'll be very gentle.
Well, we're doing ours, so
We're trying. Oh yeah, we'll do ours.
all right, guys. I think that's it.
That is it.
Happy Monday, Cheryl. Have a good rest of the week.
Yeah.
We'll try to do one tomorrow, maybe. Okay.
All right.
All right. Bye, guys. Thank
Bye.
you.